In a world where sports have stretched beyond the fabric of reality and podcasts became as common as potholes, there were two guys in Morgantown, West Virginia who desired to do something different. These two guys came up with an idea to bring real life back to the arena of sports and hopefully be somewhat entertaining along the way. These two guys are certainly no experts, and they're definitely not comedians. They just think they are. This is the Extra Medium Podcast, and here are those two guys.
And here we go. Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Extra Medium Sports Podcast. Why did we come up with such an unusual name? Well, it's just because simply we are two plus-size guys living in an extra medium world. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Justin Jackson, sports editor of the Dominion Post.
And I'm Matt Amory, former WVU lineman and state champion at Morgantown High.
We begin today with the obvious. Both Morgantown High in Class Quad A and Clay Battelle in Class Single A have advanced to Friday night's state championship games at Charleston's Laidley Field. Ooh. The number 1 Mohegans playing number 3 Martinsburg. That is a noon kickoff on Friday. Martinsburg is the two-time defending state champs and the state's top dog for about 2 decades plus now, right?
Can I tell you, I don't mean to interrupt.
Sure.
So, I had been in California probably for about 20 years. I wanted to see what was going on. What did the past 10 years look like, 12 years look like?
Look like Martinsburg.
The AAA for the most of the time and Quad A last year. State Martinsburg, Capital, Martinsburg, South Charles. What in the...
It took off. They took off.
Golly.
They took off when you did.
This has got me nervous, but I'm ready. We're ready to fight. The Mohegans are ready to play. Sorry, I'm getting excited. Sorry to interrupt you.
Mohegans and Martinsburg. That's a noon kickoff on Friday in Charleston. Then at 7 o'clock on Friday night, the number 3 Seabees taking on number 1 Wheeling Central. We will take a deep dive into both of those matchups. And as a special guest today, Matt, do you know who we have coming on?
Who is that? Who can we possibly have?
Morgantown High head football coach Sean Beisel will be joining us here a little bit later on the show to talk about the matchup with Martinsburg. Also on the show today, we have Michael Griffith of the Dominion Post.
The legend.
To give us the latest on both title matchups. But first, Matt, tell the good people who sponsors our show.
The Extra Medium Sports Podcast is brought to you by the Erickson Alumni Center. Whether you're interested in hosting a corporate retreat, a baby shower, or a beautiful wedding reception, we take pride in making every experience a memorable one.
Matt, where can you find our podcast?
I'm glad you asked. You can always find a link to the Extra Medium Sports Podcast at www.dominionpost.com or find us on social media at Spotify and YouTube.
It's now time. I'm going to turn to my partner here, partner in crime, Matt Amory, who played in 2 state championship games during his playing days at Morgantown High. The 98 game, which was a loss to Nitro, J.R. House.
I still have PTSD from that, by the way.
And the 2000 state championship, which was a win against Parkersburg.
I should have wore the ring, but I think too much sodium consumption from last week, it wouldn't fit.
2 years of playing in the state finals. Those were up at Wheeling.
Yes,
Wheeling Island.
The
games have since, I think, beginning last year, switched to Charleston. But, Matt, if you could just give us some insight, the week leading up to those championship games, the actual ride up to the championship games, what is that experience like? I mean, the kids at Morgantown and Clay Battelle, what are they going through this week?
This is going to sound strange, but I mean this. It's the longest but shortest week you'll ever have. And you have this feeling of your goal is right in front of you after such a long season where you've been beat down, you've overcome so much, and you're only one of 2 teams playing in your respective bracket left.
Right, your class.
No one else has that honor of practicing. A lot's going through your mind, but you break it down each day. We broke it down. We knew who we had, what was going on, what was expected of us, and what we needed to do to win. If we hit certain aspects and we did it well, we would win the game. Took off a lot of anxiety. Now, with that said, and I remember this like it was yesterday. Mrs. Arbogast, one of my homeroom teacher, she asked me how I was doing. I was like, Mrs. Arbogast, I'm having these strange dreams and all this. She goes, well, I interpret... I can interpret the dreams. Let me know what they mean. I would have these dreams that these snakes were biting my fingers, and I would be in so much pain. But we would come across, and I would have to go through these stairs from these snakes and biting me to get this gold. And that was the dream. And she said, well, maybe something is coming that's going to be painful, but you can go through it and fight through it and get to the goal. Now, that was cheesy. I probably shouldn't have said that live on air about that dream. It might bring up
that's fine.
might bring up some other, but that's what's going on. Like it is right in your eyes. It's looking at you right in the face. It's an intense moment. There's a lot of emotions, but man, you're ready to play. Just get me on that bus. Let's get the crap over with. Let's get the walkthroughs over with. If you don't know what you're doing by now, you're in trouble. Get on that bus and let's go.
Here's the question I got for you. You played in the 2 state championship games at Morgantown High, went on to WVU and played part of the Sugar Bowl team.
Yes.
As WVU was making its first climb up to national relevance under Rich Rodriguez.
Yes.
The nights leading into the state championship finals, the nights leading into that Sugar Bowl, similar feelings, different feelings?
Believe it or not, it's extremely similar. Mm-hmm. It's very similar. And it's that winning of the game. It's so intense you can taste it. Your senses feel overwhelmed, but it puts you also in a new territory. And for me, I played ready to fight. Some people play calm and what's best for them. Not me. Not me. Every opponent, I went in there, kind of like I got to fight for my life or we're going to get killed. Now, it was a little bit different in the Sugar Bowl because I wasn't getting as much playing time or anything like that. But from a team perspective, we were all locked in. We wanted this for West Virginia, just like Morgantown High wants this. I do remember after that first loss, the sophomore season, it hurt me so bad. I cried and cried. And one thing that how many things have to go your way to get to the state championship? And Justin and Legend, a lot of these things, some things are out of your control. Will you ever get back to this point again?
Sure.
Next day, we had a couple guys practicing after that beatdown we took from Nitro. But it's you could have 100 people, and 100 people are going to feel different about it. But what I can tell you is it's intense. It's wonderful because it's what you wanted, but it's so close you can taste it.
Did you ride the bus up in the morning?
Yes.
Was it the whole team ride the bus?
Yeah, the whole team rode the bus.
What's that bus ride like?
The bus ride was different. You could tell it was different, and you know why? Because there were snacks. They said, we're going to pull over and get some snacks here. We never pulled over. When we played Wheeling Park, we didn't pull over.
Right.
And that was where you learn.
Where'd you pull over?
I don't even remember where we pulled over, but
like
I don't
rest stop,
it was like a rest stop thing. But
chips out of the vending machine or what?
No, they provided us some wonderful stuff. Right. It was chips and it was stuff like that. But you have way more opportunities to eat. You have way more downtime. And I ate way too much before that Nitro. I went in there like, oh my God.
Well, maybe that's why you were a step slow, maybe. I don't know.
That's why I couldn't sack JR. The secret's out. But also, what's interesting about a state? Well, I guess you get this before that. We didn't, but we would get TV timeouts, and that means additional breaks. Oh, gosh, did I love the TV timeouts.
The Morgantown High, Michael Griffith, we were talking earlier. This is Morgantown High's first state title appearance in 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable to hear.
I was going to say, how does that sit with you?
When I left for California, I admit I didn't check. I would check on my Mohegans every now and then. It doesn't seem real. It doesn't. I can't process it. I can't process it. It doesn't sit with me well. But how about it? What it does create is an opportunity. How about we stop that drought now?
Right. There you
Let's
go.
stop that. But then it's really slaying the head of a dragon. I mean, Martinsburg, you see, you talk about how could you not, I don't want to say the word intimidated, because I guarantee you Morgantown High is not intimidated, but be at the ultimate high of being pumped up, ready to go. When you're playing a dog like Martinsburg, it's no secret what happened during the earlier in the season when Morgantown High traveled to Martinsburg. But I do think Morgantown High is a different team, as is Martinsburg. But man, this is an incredibly.
You want to feel really old?
Yes, let's hear it.
It's been 25 years since you won your
Oh, my
championship.
gosh.
25 years. Think about
Gee
that.
golly whiz. I think,
What's happened in those 25 years for you, right?
well, a lot of weight gaining and hair losing. I can tell you I've succeeded immensely at that. Gee golly, 25 years. Can you believe that? And can I tell you one thing about what West Virginia high school football has meant to me? You talk about 25 years ago and the nostalgia, the amount of emotions that come from meeting my buddy Justin here, the relationships I was able to develop, the parents I was able to meet. A lot comes.
It's more than just what happens on a Friday night.
It is.
Right.
It's more than meets the eye. So not only congratulations to whoever's playing, Morgantown, CB's, all the teams, but congratulations to the players, coaching staff, and the parents. It's a wonderful accomplishment.
It's now time to bring in the third member of our broadcasting team. Michael Griffith is here in the studio. Michael, of the two state championship matchups, which one has you more intrigued, the Clay Battelle or the Morgantown High matchup?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I'll definitely go with the Morgantown High, just simply because there's so much history among the two programs, and because they played earlier this season too. And it was a little one-sided, so that's definitely making me interested in the adjustments that Morgantown will make. And going back to what Justin was talking about, the craziest thing about Morgantown missing 20 years of state titles is the 2004-2005 were back-to-back championships, and then it's like 20 years and you don't even go back.
Yeah.
So it changed really quick too. That's the other thing, is they were coming off back-to-back state titles, and then it's just 20 years later, here you are again. But yeah, I definitely think the Morgantown matchup intrigues me a lot. I thought I saw some things in the Martinsburg University game that Morgantown will see on film that they could take advantage of. So it's going to be a really interesting game.
You know, the funny thing of the Morgantown High State Championships, when they went back-to-back in 2004-2005, the 2004 win came against Martinsburg.
Oh, okay.
And that was probably kind of the beginning of Martinsburg
taking on.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now, Morgantown High went back-to-back, one in 2005, and what was another monumental game against Nitro, went into overtime. Morgantown High won that one. But then ever since, Martinsburg has played a factor. They haven't won every one. They've lost a few here and there. But I think it's 12 state titles?
12 state titles.
I mean,
under the same
moly.
coach, Dave Walker.
I mean,
been there the whole
moly.
time. Legendary. I talked to him last year around All-State time. He's just a great guy to talk to. So much knowledge. Just can't say anything else about that program, man. The standard right now.
Legend, can I just ask you, we know what happened in that Morgantown-Martinsburg game before. Is this Morgantown team different? I think they are.
Yeah,
But
I think you could argue.
Do they have a legitimate chance?
100%. And Maddox Twig was banged up in that game, too. I think he missed probably a cumulative half of that game. And at halftime, it was only a one-score game. And then, you come back out in the second half, and Martinsburg played really well. So yeah. I think both teams probably, you could say, are a little different. Martinsburg has actually had they turned around so much from that first loss against Huntington the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah.
So you got to play your best game. Both sides are going to have to play their best game of the season to take the W.
See, Michael, I would have thought you would have said the Clay Battelle Wheeling Central game.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that you have, and this is something we're going to get into a little bit later in the show, but to kind of kick it off, because you have that private school versus public school kind of argument, and Clay Battelle is kind of carrying that banner, right, for the public schools against the big bad nasty private school.
And
right?
I think if you asked 9 out of 10 people who are West Virginia high school football fans in the state, they'll probably tell you that they're more excited for the Clay Battelle Wheeling Central. And Clay Battelle's got a lot more fans this week. I'll tell you that much when it comes to football. They got a lot of people pulling for him based solely on that public and private argument. So.
Michael, we're going to get in here with Coach Beiser in just a second, but right off the bat, we already mentioned Martinsburg High. They've dominated for a couple of decades.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Morgantown High earlier in the year. Morgantown's chances, Clay Battelle's chances, I mean, do you think there could be a double title in Mon County this weekend?
Absolutely, it could absolutely happen. We've seen these two teams play some really good ball, especially late in the season, especially in these playoffs. And the matchups, obviously the first score against Morgantown Martinsburg is one thing, but I think that this is a game that Morgantown's going to be able to plan really well offensively for, and it's going to be completely different than what they did in the first game. But yeah, I think there's an absolute possibility that both teams can go and get it done. I think a good matchup in the Clay-Battelle-Wheeling Central game is going to be size versus speed. Wheeling Central is a really big team. They got some 6'5" kids, 6'6", 6'7" kids that are basketball players that can really, catch the ball. Max Oliash is a tight end. He's a state champion last year with Wheeling Central in AA basketball. So yeah, that's going to be a matchup to watch, is speed versus size in the Clay-Battelle and Wheeling Central game. But you could see a double title coming back to Mon County.
Boston Todd is Martinsburg's top player, right? Receiver, athlete, runner.
Yep.
Does Morgantown High, though, with Twig, does Morgantown High have the best player on the field?
100%. I think he's the best player in the state, just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, he has the ability to single-handedly change a game, and that's been my biggest argument with him for the Kennedy Award is
bring home the Kennedy to Twig. Sorry, I interrupted.
No problem at all. I told somebody it's between him and Brad Mosser from Princeton for me, and I told someone last week that it might even be more of a 1A 1B for me. But when I have those scenarios, I typically like to ask myself, what would their two teams look like? Where would these two teams be if you removed this player from the roster? And in my opinion, Princeton would probably still be one of the top 4 teams in AAA. Brad Mosser is not a quarterback. He is a running back, wide receiver. He also plays defense. He impacts the game. But Maddox Twig, if you take him off of Morgantown High this year, are they a top 4 seed? They still have a lot of talent. But with their schedule and with everything else, if you do not have Maddox Twig, they are a completely different football team.
That's a wonderful point.
So that's my argument.
Look at Michael getting deep. Michael's getting deep on us.
And not to completely change the subject either, but with Maddox potentially getting a Kennedy, I'm afraid the voters are going to say, well, he's got 2 more years left.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. I mean, that definitely happens with people saying, "Oh, this guy's a senior."
But that happens everywhere, right?
Absolutely,
that happens everywhere.
Well, and let me give you an example too. In girls basketball, right? Morgantown High has Kaylee Kellogg, and last year there was a girl from Wheeling Park, Alexis Bordas, who won Player of the Year. Absolutely deserving. I voted for her to win, but a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Kaylee Kellogg's going to have 2 more years. She's only a sophomore." Kaylee Kellogg tore her ACL in the summer, and she's not going to be able to play for a long time this season. Someone else is going to win the Mary O award this year, and Kaylee Kellogg's not going to be able to win that until her senior year. So speaks to that argument, is just because someone's a senior doesn't mean they should win an award.
I'm totally with you. I agree with you. But there is a reason why there's in the history the Kennedy Award, I believe, don't hold me to this, I think the Kennedy Award has been passed out since 1947, I think.
Okay.
47, 48, sometime in that era. During that time, there has only been one sophomore.
Wow.
Who won the Kennedy.
That's a good one.
And there is a reason for that, and it's because of that simple argument that you just laid out. Oh, the kid might be good, he might be talented, but let's give it to the junior, let's give it to the senior, because this kid's obviously going to be good for another 2 years, and we can give him to him down the road. Well, the bottom line is you don't know what's going to happen down the road.
Exactly.
Nope. Could happen tomorrow. You never know.
But there's only been one sophomore to win the Kennedy. It was J.R. House.
J.R. House?
Right. Obviously, deservingly so. And then he won it again 2 years later as a senior, tied with Quincy. But, yeah, no, I agree. I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you 100%. Well, if the kid's a sophomore, he's the best player in the state, you got to give it to him because you just don't know what's going to happen.
It's like waiting to
road.
put professional athletes in Hall of Fames. Like, we wait so long to put these guys in Hall of Fames, and then they unexpectedly or tragically pass away, and they never get their chance to have their moment.
To get to see it.
To get on stage and speak to. It's kind of like that. Put these people, give these people awards, put these people in these halls while they're still with us, while they're still doing it, while they are deserve it. Like, that's just my opinion.
I think Pete Rose would agree with you.
He'd bet on that.
And with all of that, it's now time to bring in Morgantown High head football coach Sean Beiser, the head coach of the Mohegans, who will be battling Martinsburg on Friday at noon, a nooner, Matt.
Let's go, Mohegans. I'm hyped, man.
Coach Beiser, congratulations, and welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's been a great year so far.
It's been a fantastic year, Coach. I guess we'll kind of just start right there. When you think back to those early days in August and really, I guess, during the summer workouts, your shorts and T-shirts back then, but did you see this kind of potential with the team back then?
I mean, yeah, we did. Honestly, it really started the day we walked off the field against Spring Mills last year. I think our kids just kind of set it in their minds that this is what they wanted and decided to work for it, and they've done that all year long through spring football and summer lifting and hill runs and speed school and everything we've done. They've been bought in.
Coach, I got to ask, obviously, on Tuesday morning, the Mon County, Morgantown area got hit with a little bit of a snowstorm. You guys practiced out there in it. What was that experience like? Did you guys have to get the snow blowers out, or how did you guys handle that?
Yeah, they're actually working on the field again right now, trying to get snow off it so we can practice today again. Yeah. It was good.
You have kids out there doing snow angels, or what?
Maybe I did probably want to, but no, I think we'll keep them off the ground as much as possible. At least right now.
Justin, we need them locked in, brother.
Right.
We need them locked in. No snow angels, man.
Coach, obviously you guys are familiar with Martinsburg. Met them during the regular season. I'm guessing it was like week 5, week 6, somewhere around there. What do you take from that first matchup? How much do you even watch it? And then what do you take from that heading into Friday night?
Yeah, I think this is like the 4th time we played them here in the recent history because we played them a few years ago in the playoffs. So that was our first, introduction to playing them. And, for the game we had earlier this year, of course we watched it because we do that every week, try to fix our problems, what we didn't do good, what we did good, that sort of thing. But, they're just so athletic and long on the perimeter, and they really challenge you. They just do a fantastic job. So, I mean, obviously we're going to watch the film. But we've watched all their other games as well and just trying to come up with a plan that's going to, hopefully slow them down a little bit. I don't know that you can stop them, but maybe slow them down and hopefully let our offense move the ball a little bit better this time.
Yeah, Coach, I just kind of wanted to ask, obviously Martinsburg can get it done really all ways on offense, and I know that they really like to run the ball first with Brian Dick, and then obviously they'll run Boston Todd off some sweeps too, but they also have the ability to take the top off with Boston and with some other players. So defensively, I know that you and Coach King will talk a lot this week and probably already have, but defensively, what are you trying to tell your players when, you do want to make sure to stop the run when they are really strong, but every single down they have that opportunity that they could take that top off your defense and get a touchdown from anywhere?
Yeah, with the schedule we've played this year, we've seen teams that do the same thing, that try to take the top off, and really just comes down to fundamentals. You got to do your job, and if you have deep half of the field, you got to play deep half of the field. You can't get your eye in the backfield. You got to have good eye discipline and do your job. Really, I mean that's really our message. Just do your job and tackle really well when the chance comes, and we'll see what happens then.
Coach, we were talking earlier. It's been 20 years since Morgantown High was in the state finals. That was 2005. I think it's kind of unique. The 2005, obviously, the team was coached by John Bowers, who is now your athletic director. Has John been in your ear at all this week, helping you out with preparation or tips or, how to handle the championship game at all?
No, I mean, I've coached him 1 2, so it's, I've done it before, but he's been great in terms of making sure we got everything set up. He's been nothing but fantastic in terms of the prep and, because we have to go out on Sunday and meet with the other coaches and get all our information. He's been fantastic, taking such a load off of our coaching staff this week, helping make sure things are prepared and things like that. So, hats off to him. He's been excellent this week.
Coach, I kind of just want to take back to the weekend. Obviously, Saturday, you guys had a huge win in the semifinals, but Saturday was a big day for your family also. Your 2 sons, Jackson and Caden, they walked on Mountaineer Field for senior day for their last game, and then, you guys all head over to Wilson Avenue and get another big win. I know that your family was there, your mom was there waiting on you, and just what was Saturday like for you? And when you really hit, your head hit the pillow on Saturday night, what was that whole day like for you? Can you just wrap that up for me?
So, it was a very emotional day for us as a family. Getting to see Jackson and Peyton walk out on that field for the last time together. And, that was pretty special. I didn't get to even attend the game because I came over here and ended up watching the game.
Okay.
They ended the game together on the field. I saw them give them a big hug. I had to take a little moment for myself to
Yeah.
hug myself. And then, my son Jacob, their older brother, I have 5 kids, so their older brother Jacob, he's on our coaching staff, so it made it great that he was able to experience this with us. And, just with my mom being there and everything, we lost my dad after a 5-year battle with pancreatic cancer. We lost him in July, and he was really, he was always supportive and a big fan. He never played football, but he was always always there and always giving me a hard time about, he'd say, you guys going to suck this year? You're going to be in he would say, see, you lied to me again. I knew it.
Right.
Kind of an inside joke with our family, but it was pretty emotional being able to have my mom and my mother-in-law and everybody there. It was, and my Uncle Jerry, who's always there for us. It was a huge day for us, and they know all the hard work that's been put in, not only by me, but our family and our assistant coaches and the whole program. So it was a really special day for us.
Coach, a heartfelt congratulations. That sounds like a extremely special time, and it's well-deserving. With the state championship coming up, is there any different philosophies with your travel or with practice, or is it just going to be business as usual? I was telling the story to the guys about how we had so many opportunities for snacks, and I took every one. By the time the game got there, I think I might have eaten too much. Is there anything special we're doing? We're leave it up to a lineman, right? Is there anything special you all are doing for the state championship with travel or practice?
No, not really. I mean, we're doing it the way we would have done in college. So you think back to what you did in college, that's how we treat it. And, I'm not really excited about taking high school kids to stand in a hotel room every night. Other than that, it is what it is. But I think our kids will handle it the way they're supposed to. And practice-wise, we're treating it like every other game. We're working on fundamentals, working on all the things that make you a better football team. We're continuing to do that even up to, the day of the game. So if you imagine what it was like when you played college football, how you guys traveled, that sort of thing, that's exactly what we're doing. And all the kids are going to be good, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Coach, at the hotel, the head coach gets a suite, right? Is that how that works out?
No, I don't think so. No, I got it. I'm just like everybody else.
Oh, man. Hey, I wanted to ask you about Maddox Twig. Obviously, what he did during the regular season was on one level. What he's done in the playoffs, though, has kind of taken it to another level. 3 games, he's got 15 touchdowns in those 3 first games of the playoffs. What have you seen from him? I mean, has he risen his game to a higher level than before?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's kind of the natural progression. It's not like we don't just line up to throw the ball 50 times a game and live off those kind of things. We run an offense that's very read-based in terms of whether he's going to throw it or pass it, what he's going to do. And he's learned as we've gone on through the season. He's got much better at his reads. And he's a winner. He wants the ball in his hands, and he wants to have an opportunity to impact the game. And I think that does a lot for him, especially as a sophomore. But he's definitely progressed as the year's gone on, and we're pretty comfortable just giving him the reins out there and letting him make the reads he needs to make.
He's also gotten it done defensively, though, Coach. He has almost, 20 tackles in the playoffs alone. I mean, for kids playing offense and defense, 20 tackles is pretty good for the whole year, really. So what is it defensively? I know that he didn't play in the first round, but then the next couple he has. What is it defensively that he just does for you guys on that side of the ball?
We had a conversation with him in the very beginning of the year before the season started. He came in my office and he was like, Coach, I want to play defense. And I'm like, Maddox, I want you to play defense too, but also part of the decision early on that we were going to hold him unless we needed certain situations. So he was a situational defensive player, not because he wasn't maybe one of the best defenders on the field or not the best defender, but we wanted to make sure he had some tread on the tires for quarterback. We did the same thing running the ball. And we held him back from doing some things and tried to give the ball to other kids early on because we knew it was going to be a long season. Yeah. We got to do what we wanted to do. So really here towards the playoffs, we just kind of taken the training wheels off and just said, hey, we got to win now, and we're going to play as much as we can, running as much as we can, or whatever we got to do. Yeah. And that's kind of what we've done with them.
Coach, I kind of wanted to ask one more quick thing. You're not the only Mon County team that'll be playing on Friday. Clay Battelle's going to be playing in the Single A Championship, their first time ever. Are you familiar with Coach LePeau at all? I know it's only his second season out there, but he's from around the area and stuff. But have you talked to him at all? And what do you know about the CB story? I know you're focused on your own season, but do you know anything about what's going on out there in Blacksville?
I do know Coach LePeau and I do have a good relationship. We know each other, and we've talked from time to time. When you're head coach, you kind of get in your own little world and get those blinders on. You don't really talk to anybody else throughout the season for the most part. But he and I have talked from time to time, and, I'm just excited for those guys out there. They do a great job, and, it's going to be a great experience for them, that's for sure.
Coach, throughout the season, I think one of the more impressive stories about your young men is the adversity that you've gone through during the course of the season with the players getting injured. Isaiah Thompson was out for a few weeks. Maddox was banged up for a number of weeks. You haven't been at full strength the entire season, but yet your team always still continued to find a way. And so I guess that's question number one. And then question number two, obviously no one at this point is 100% healthy, but heading into the state championship game, health-wise, do you feel good about where the team is health-wise?
Here's the thing. Everybody during the course of the season was going to get banged up. I mean, we didn't have our starting Mike linebacker for 4 games. King Williams was out. So, for our kids to step up and have that next man in mentality and everybody just steps up and does what they're supposed to do. And I think that's a credit to our coaching staff, too. I mean, our guys do a great job. And I think the way we run our program with coaching our kids, we coach both the JV and the varsity kids. Our varsity coaches do. So, I think it gets our kids prepared to play, especially when you have as many kids on football as we have.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that goes to our coaches. And then in terms of being healthy, we're probably as healthy as we've been in a while. Everybody's banged up and dinged up, but I think our kids are they're ready to go.
You've got when you went to the state title with Kaiser, was that in Wheeling?
Yes.
Okay, so this will be the first time down in Charleston, right? Okay. What were your memories? Give us a little story about your time at Kaiser when you went to the state finals.
Yeah, when we went at Kaiser, we just had a great group of kids and really worked hard, and we didn't think we were going to go until the next year, honestly. We thought the next year's team would be better, and those kids just willed themselves to go. I mean, we just really played hard, and, unfortunately it didn't work out our way in the championship game, but I think I learned a lot in that game because there's a lot more that goes into it, and it changes a lot of the things you do pre-game. Excuse me. So having our kids be able to know what's expected and what's going to happen, I think is a big for us. Plus, those kids have never played in anything like that. We played Wayne, who's been there many times, and they kind of have a little advantage of that. So yeah. I think we learned a lot from that situation.
Well, that was that would have been a double-A game, right? That would have been the Friday night game.
Friday night game.
Yeah, and so now you got the nooner on Saturday. What's that? I don't know. Have you ever played a game at noon outside of college?
Yeah, we played at we played at 1 o'clock, but we haven't played at noon. But we played 1 o'clock game.
Well, hey, Coach, we appreciate it. Thank you for coming on and sharing this experience with us, and good luck to the Mohegans against Martinsburg on Friday at noon.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you having me on, and we're just excited to get down there and get this game underway.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, one more time, Matt, if you will, tell us who our sponsor is.
Well, I'm glad you asked. The Extra Medium Sports Podcast is brought to you by the Erickson Alumni Center. Provide your guests with an elegant experience utilizing our state-of-the-art conference technology and catering from our in-house executive chef.
All right, Matt, the other side of the equation to Championship Friday is Clay Battelle against Wheeling Central.
Oh, yeah.
Wheeling Central number 1, Clay Battelle number 3. That is a Friday night kickoff at 7 o'clock in Charleston's Lady Field.
Huge game.
If I can, I want to get on a soapbox here.
So, okay, let's hear this.
I've been thinking about, this is actually something I've been thinking about for years. And
okay.
I kind of wanted to talk about it on the podcast for a second, and it just never seemed like the right time. But now having Clay Battelle playing Wheeling Central, I think it's the perfect time. And basically, it's kind of the perception and apprehension that surrounds the public school versus the private school situation that we have here in West Virginia. And really, you say private school, there's a ton of private schools in West Virginia. The poster child is kind of Wheeling Central.
Wheeling Central, yeah. Absolutely. Wheeling Central is the poster child of private schools.
Wheeling Central's football program, under head coach Mike Young, has won state titles 8 times. Last one was in 2019. So, yeah, they are the moniker of success when it comes to Class A, Single A football in West Virginia. And as you know, we talked about this earlier, the Maroon Knights played 8 games during the regular season.
I didn't even that didn't hit me until seeing the record. How can they even do that?
They finished 6-2. And here's the thing: the out of the 8 games during the regular season, 1 was against the West Virginia school, Williamstown, and I believe Wheeling Central won that game by a number of touchdowns. The other games on their schedule, so they played 8. So the other 7 games on their schedule were teams from Pennsylvania. They played a lot of Pittsburgh suburb schools. They played some teams from Ohio, They might have snuck one in there from Wyoming, Nebraska. I mean, who knows where else?
Who knows?
But they basically play out-of-state schools for the simple fact that the public schools in West Virginia refuse to play Wheeling Central during the regular season.
Can I stop? Why, though? Are they thinking that's going to punish them?
Well, it's very much. It goes back to and then this is kind of where I want to begin the discussion.
Okay.
It goes back to the public schools versus the private schools, I don't know, battle or whatever you want to call it. You can't sit here with a straight face. Now, here's the thing. For decades and decades, Wheeling Central was able to go out, and their enrollment area basically greatly was a great advantage compared to the other public schools in West Virginia. Certainly a greater advantage to the single-A schools. In that Wheeling Central, just being in the Wheeling area by itself is a much larger area. But then they could also, if they want to go get a kid from Moundsville, if that's legal. If they wanted to go get a kid from Steubenville, Ohio, that's legal. Bridgeport, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
So they could go essentially out of their district, whereas, like, say, someone who goes to Morgantown is controlled by certain
district line.
Line, okay.
Wheeling Central's district line basically stretched from the county, the Ohio County, which is where Wheeling is located. So they had the entire county, and then the neighboring counties. So you could go one county north, which is where Brooke High School is.
Got you.
One county south, which is where John Marshall and Cameron High Schools are. So you could get some, technically, could get some kids from those schools. And then you could go into the neighboring counties in Ohio and Pennsylvania, which is where, Steubenville comes in.
Yeah, a lot of population
so
and talent.
It is a great advantage that Wheeling Central had. And you can't argue that.
No argument.
I mean, no one sane would not sit here and say Wheeling Central doesn't have an advantage.
100% agree with that.
Now, the difference is, a couple of years ago, the rules changed in West Virginia, whereas it basically became open enrollment throughout the state of West Virginia through the transfer policy, whereas basically schools are now to some degree are on the same level, meaning that if a kid from Morgantown High School wanted to go to Nitro, he could do so. If a kid from University High wanted to go to Wheeling Park, he could. Now,
essentially those districts are lifted,
right,
for even the public schools.
The districts are lifted. You don't have to move into the.
It'd be one heck of a commute,
right,
but in theory, if you wanted to do it,
it would be a heck of a commute if you wanted to go from Morgantown to Nitro. But it would be legal now.
Okay, copy that.
So now there are still some advantages that Wheeling Central has, even under that level playing field thing, in that, if you were to compare them with Clay Battelle, it's probably easier, right, to, if you're talking to a kid trying to get him to roll in your school, probably a little easier to sell him on going to Wheeling.
Absolutely.
Than it would be for Clay Battelle to try to bring a kid into a more rural area.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think it'd be similar to recruiting a college kid. Like, look at our facilities, look at our town, look at our city. Not that there's nothing going on in Clay Battelle. Clay Battelle is awesome. Huge friend of the show. We love Clay Battelle. But it would probably be easier to sell a kid in a more, easier accessible area like Wheeling.
Well, there are more advantages to, living in the city. There's more.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, there are two sides to this kind of story. And so part of the issue, I believe, is that the high school coaches, when I say high school coaches, I'm going to say the public school high school coaches kind of only see one side of the story.
Yes.
There are two sides to the story, and I think that's kind of what they either don't recognize or refuse to recognize. And basically, and by saying that, if you let's just take Wheeling Central here first. There's this aura that Wheeling Central is a quad A kind of school. Playing in a single A.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Uniform.
Even since I was playing, they're considered these gods among men, and intimidation runs through your spine when you hear how this is talked about. Is that not the case?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, all right? So, now Wheeling Central is going to roll out there with a nice-looking team on Friday night. They're not rolling out there with 4 300-pound offensive linemen.
Gotcha.
They're not rolling out there with Maddox Twig at quarterback.
But for a single-A WV school, they're looking pretty darn.
They're not rolling out there with 5 or 6 Division I prospects on their team. And I think that's sort of the aura that they go out and recruit these kids who are that. And that's not the case. Now, there are some nice-looking kids. When I said I want to talk about a couple of them here. They have an offensive lineman named Luke Ware, a senior, 6'6", 280.
That's a big dude.
Yeah, big kid. Running back, Cade Cornelius, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Running back, 5'11", 185. He's their big-time rusher, 1,000-yard, averaging over 100 yards a game. And the quarterback, Nico Krusik, is a junior, 6'3", 195. So they've got some athletes.
I mean, that's some great size for West Virginia single A.
And Clay Battelle obviously is going to have to match up with that.
Yes.
But it's not like Wheeling Central is rolling out there with, a small college team.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of what that's the moniker that people put on them.
And I'm guilty of that,
Yeah.
too. I'm guilty of whatever picture's being painted. I'm guilty of that. But
Wheeling Central is very beatable.
Let me put you on the spot. Hot take. Does Clay Battelle stand a legitimate chance of winning the state championship?
I think Clay Battelle stands a very good chance. I think from a physical standpoint, I think Clay Battelle, if they can sort of muddy up the game, you know what I mean, even though it's going to be on a turf field.
Here's the thing. I know that rumors have it that 7-Eleven is still standing by Clay Battelle. If they win this game, I don't know if it'll still be standing.
Oh, the whole town might be.
Yeah.
Right.
I was talking to someone at work who has a kid who's going up in the Clay Battelle system, and they were talking about, and I think this does fall. This is more from a player's perspective, but looking at Wheeling Central from a player's perspective, you see what the first thing I think about is these guys are essentially Wheeling Central are receiving scholarships,
right,
for tuition and.
Well, that's the other side of the story.
Or is
too.
that the case? Like what?
Well, here's the idea. So we talk about now everyone's kind of playing on this level playing field, quote unquote. When Wheeling Central, when they bring people in,
yes,
it costs $17,700 for per year to attend Wheeling Central, whereas if you're a public school, it doesn't cost you anything, right? If you want to get into the whole recruiting.
Yeah. So I mean. That I think
I don't know.
Pretty obvious advantage. Wheeling Central.
I don't have $18,000.
I don't have $18,000.
Right,
No,
right.
I don't have $18,000. I don't have $18. But that's a different. But from a player's perspective, I mean, it's the lady at work. She's like, we don't know. It's not. They're not intimidated. But I said, no. You have a chance to bust the rich boys in the mouth.
Right.
Like you have a chance to go that first play. You hit them and let them know what they're getting into, because between these lines in this field, this scholarship, this $17,700 is not going to save you. You know what I mean? It's not going to save you. So I'm excited for Clay Battelle, but I love what you're saying because it's such a wonderful point.
Well, I think. Now, here's the other side to this, getting guys kind of argument. So now it's open. And then this is where I wanted to ask you about, because going back to your playing days at Morgantown High, you had, on the varsity back in your days, 70 kids, 80 kids on the roster?
Yeah.
You could only play 22 at a time, right? 11 on offense, 11 on defense. There's a lot of kids on the roster back in those days. Good football players, but probably didn't get as much playing time as
Absolutely.
they probably could,
and they
right?
probably would have done pretty darn good at.
That's my point. Was there ever any, did guys talk back in those days about saying, hey, I'm not going to play much here at Morgantown High. I could go to Clay Battelle and play a lot more.
If we did, it was minimal,
right?
Because it just wasn't possible unless something happened where you actually legitimately moved or had the means to move. Even if you had the means, Be like, hey, Mom, I want to be in this apartment because I want to line up next to Josh Stewart in University High. I mean, that's what are the my mom would slap me.
Right.
What are you talking about? And that would never happen. I'm Morgantown High all the way. We never really had that, but what we did have were conversations of our opponents. There was a guy named Justin Winters. And Justin Winters, I wanted to go against him every practice because he would hit me so hard. There's no one else I would play in varsity, non-varsity, that was going to hit me as hard as Justin Winters. Justin Winters would hit me so hard.
Where was he from? I don't remember him.
He's from Morgantown.
Oh, okay.
Morgantown guy. He played like backup flanker, but he didn't play much. There just wasn't a spot with him in these unprecedented athletes coming into West Virginia. We were 3 or 4 deep.
Right.
And, Justin probably running a 4.6 could play.
Could have been a star.
Could have been a star on another team. Or he helped us tremendously. I give him. This is not to downplay his role.
Sure.
Because he got us ready. He got me ready every week. There was nobody on that varsity side. But a couple times my thoughts did, man, this guy would be a starter somewhere else.
Right.
He just can't. He's not running this elite speed that we have that we're blessed with.
I want to talk, obviously we're mentioning Clay Battelle kind of in this argument because that's who Wheeling Central plays on Friday. Not to single out Clay Battelle because, essentially every public single-A school would be
exactly, not to single them out.
But to that point, and not that Aaron LePeau is going out, and I'm not saying he's recruiting. I'm not advocating that he goes out and recruits guys from Morgantown High, University High. But in theory, that's how the game can be played.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point.
Well, Clay Battelle,
that's a wonderful point.
Clay Battelle High School also is located pretty much like a hop, skip, and a jump from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
In theory, you could probably get a couple kids from Waynesburg. They brought in some kids from 100 this year that have helped them out tremendously.
Yep.
Now, they aren't necessarily transfers. The school closed.
Yeah, the school closed. Right. Even Coach LePeau himself said 100 would have had a great team, but they're not necessarily transfers. But I love what you're saying because is that the way we're going? Is that the...
I think essentially everyone kind of gives Wheeling Central too much credit.
I like the way you phrase
and
that.
I guess what my point is that if you're a single A school or even a double A school, and you think that Wheeling Central is this big mighty, recruiting factory, football machine, I can certainly understand why you would think that way. I mean, the numbers, the state championships, the playoff wins, they prove it. I'm not sure if I'm ready to put Wheeling Central on that type of pedestal.
I love what you say, and you have the facts to back it, but it seems it's so strong and edged in my mind as stone, as if this is a factory. Well, this is a recruiting power.
Sure, okay.
And I mean, they have had years of experience with it. I think that's going to take a lot of time to have a pitch to recruit a kid, bring him in. We can give you this amount for your tuition, blah, 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 blah. I think more for the public schools, it's going to be here's an opportunity. Let's, show them what we can, where they have like a formal thing. But still, does that make them some sort of gods of recruiting and football? I don't think so. So I love what you're saying.
Well, here's the other side, too, and this is kind of one of the areas I wanted to get into with the fact that no one plays Wheeling Central during the year. This is the part I think that the other public schools in West Virginia don't think about or don't consider. They don't play Wheeling Central because in some way, shape, or form, I think, it's like, we're going to punish you. We're not going to play you. We're going to, you go out and do your thing. We'll do our thing, and we're just not going to play you. That doesn't punish.
I was going to ask you, is that a punishment, though?
Because now they can go out and play whoever they want. They go out, and they play the double-A schools in Pennsylvania. They play, double-A schools in Ohio. And they get more playoff points for that. I mean, they lost two games during the regular season and still finished number one.
Yeah. Yes.
Because they rack up so much playoff points by beating these larger schools in Pennsylvania.
So not playing Wheeling Central can essentially you're helping them.
Right. No, because you're helping them get more prepared for the playoffs because they're playing a tougher schedule 9 times out of 10 than what you are. The other side of it is by not playing Wheeling Central, you're adding to their mystique. And I think that you're also so like right now, if you're and I'm not advocating that every single A school or double A school try to schedule Wheeling Central, but if you're an elite school and single A, like if you're Wahama, yeah, I would schedule Wheeling Central.
Absolutely.
If you think you're going to have a really good team one year, like going into next year, I think Aaron LePeau would think that Clay Battelle is, he's got a lot of kids coming back. I would sign a 1-year contract and schedule Wheeling Central.
Absolutely. Those games do help you. You become battle tested.
You know what what adjustments to make, right?
Yes.
We got to
seen them before.
We got to move our right tackle and move him to left guard, and we got to move a defensive end to linebacker. We got to strengthen up this side because that's what you see from playing Wheeling Central, where your strong and weak areas are. And then if you meet them again in the playoffs, yeah, well now the sticker shock is off, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Hey, look, they do put on their pants one leg at a time. We had a similar mystique when we played. This was at West Virginia when we would play those Miami teams.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, they get the best of everybody, but they ran the same defense every time. It just, we are this much better than you, beat us. And a couple of times we didn't beat them at the time, but we put up some good matches. And you know what they did? They put their pants leg on one leg at a time. You hit them in the mouth, I think
Morgantown High is going to go through that this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Having played Martinsburg once already?
Yeah. I mean, Justin, I'm telling you, I'm looking back. I didn't know it. I knew, but I just did not put it together that, Martinsburg is the powerhouse, the Alabama of, a decade ago. Just, I couldn't believe it. What was it? How many state championships? 12 appearances?
12 over, 20, 25 years?
12 over 25 years, and that's not even saying every appearance that they've had.
Sure, I think there was like 3 or 4 years
where they've come up
second.
Sure, but even what Coach Beiser said, being there once, it is kind of a unique show. Once you're there once, you know how it goes. This coach, lives there. They live there in Martinsburg. However, Coach Beiser, Coach King, those boys are going to have him ready. That first time when you hit him in the mouth, that first play, you come out, you hit him in the mouth, you let that guy beside you know he's going to need his lunch pail because it's going to work. We're going to work. All that stuff is out the window.
The research I came up with on the Wheeling Central, the last Division I athlete to come out of Wheeling Central was Chase Harler. Was a basketball player at WVU. Didn't play football. He was a basketball player. But he was from the Moundsville area and attended Wheeling Central. So that kind of tells you a little bit about what they a little bit about what they can do. But in the same sense, I guess what my point is I don't think this is some big juggernaut that Clay Battelle is getting ready to play on Friday night.
We're not, and to your point of that was the last Division I player, they're not pumping out 8 Division I guys a year. But in my mind, that's kind of what they are. So
Coach LePeau, good luck.
Hey, good luck, Coach LePeau.
We think let's go with predictions.
Let's go with predictions. We want to start with Morgantown.
I'll start with Clay Battelle. I'll start with because I just got on that Wheeling Central soapbox.
Okay.
I'm going to say Clay Battelle is going to beat Wheeling Central.
Do you have a score for me?
I'm going to say 28-21. Well, they go for 2. They go for 2 a lot. Clay Battelle does. I'm going to say 24-21. 24-21.
So that's slaying the dragon. Is dare I say David beat Goliath? I am with you.
I don't think it's really David versus Goliath. I don't think so.
Not?
No.
Well, maybe that's what
I think in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
In my mind, that's what it is. But if it's in our minds, is it in those kids' minds?
That's the question.
That's the question.
Yeah.
And Coach LePeau, friend of the show, we have him on here. I think he's gonna, Coach LePeau is gonna have the kids ready to play. Not to mention it's a homecoming for him going back to Laidley there. I'm saying CB's win. I like CB's 16-10.
16-10, I like it.
I like CB's 16-10.
The rematch, Morgantown High and Martinsburg.
So this is a different game. This is a different team. This was at Martinsburg, when Morgantown got whipped, they got their butts handed to them, out physical. I think they learned from them. I never in my life, especially at this game, will I ever go against Morgantown High. I just hit my nose on the mic, so I apologize for that. I'm getting hype. But that doesn't mean I'm telling a lie, by the way.
No.
That does not mean I'm telling a lie. There's no Pinocchio in this mess. I got Morgantown winning this game. I think it's going to be close.
50-0. What do you got?
24-21.
24-21.
Morgantown 24-21.
I'm going to go with they've been the Kings for about 2 decades plus. I think David Walker is an excellent football coach.
Absolutely.
I think Martinsburg wins this game, but close.
Is it a close game?
I think 28-21. I think Maddox Twig is going to put on a show.
Oh, I can't wait to see Maddox Twig put on a show, man.
But I think Martinsburg is just a hair better.
Well, only time will tell. I respect what you're saying. I love what you're saying, but I think Coach Byers is going to pull this one off.
All right. Hey, that's all the time we have for today. We thank you for listening. We want to thank MHS head coach Sean Beiser, who joined us a little earlier on the show. We congratulate the Mohegans as well as Aaron LaPose Seabees for advancing to the state finals. They will play for those titles on Friday night. Matt, time to take us home.
Hey, thanks for joining us today on the Extra Medium Sports Podcast, which is brought to you by the Erickson Alumni Center. Select a wedding venue where you can host the perfect ceremony and reception while providing your guests with a caring and comfortable environment. Lastly, this is the Extra Medium Podcast where couches are safe, but the takes are on fire. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see y'all next week.